The proximity alarm jolted Commander Elias Morgan from his meditation. In the 14 months since leaving Earth's orbit, false alarms had become routine, usually just space debris or minor meteor fragments. But the urgent, high-pitched wail reverberating through his vessel suggested something far more substantial. "Computer, identify approaching object," Elias commanded, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "Unknown vessel. Non-terrestrial origin. Impact imminent in 60 seconds. Elias's heart hammered against his ribs. First contact. After decades of searching, humanity would finally have proof they weren't alone, if he survived the encounter. Evasive maneuvers. Broadcast all standard greeting protocols. He grabbed the manual controls, feeling sweat beading on his forehead as he struggled to alter the ship's trajectory. The approaching vessel moved with impossible grace, adjusting its course to mirror his evasive actions. Not random. Intelligent. Impact in 10 seconds. Elias braced himself, closing his eyes as the computer counted down. The expected collision came as little more than a gentle bump, deliberate, controlled. His ship shuddered briefly before stabilizing. Hull integrity at 98%. Unknown vessel has initiated docking procedures. What? Override. Deny docking request. Elias shouted, but the computer flashed a warning. External override in progress. Docking will complete in 30 seconds. Elias grabbed the nearest weapon, a laser cutter used for maintenance, and positioned himself by the airlock. His mission had never prepared him for this scenario. 14 months of solitude, and now he might be facing an alien invasion. The airlock hissed open, releasing a shimmer of opalescent mist. As it cleared, Elias found himself face to face with what was unmistakably a woman, yet not human. Her skin held a faint lavender hue, and her eyes, larger than any human's, contained swirling galaxies of silver and violet. Her body was lithe, wrapped in a form-fitting metallic fabric that seemed to pulse with its own energy. "Lower your primitive tool," she spoke, her voice melodic but firm. "If I wished you harm, you would already be space dust." Elias remained frozen, laser cutter still raised. "Who are you? What do you want?" "I am Talia, lead researcher of the Asterian Collective." She gestured toward his weapon again. "Please. This encounter is already suboptimal." Something in her composure convinced him. Elias slowly lowered the cutter. "Commander Elias Morgan, Earth Exploration Corps. You damaged my ship." "Correction, our vessels collided due to your unpredictable navigation pattern." Talia moved forward, her movements fluid and precise. "Your propulsion system is now compromised. As is my quantum stabilizer. We are both stranded until repairs are complete." "You speak English," Elias observed, still processing her appearance, so humanoid, yet distinctly alien. "I've studied your transmissions for decades. Inefficient language, but functional." Her eyes narrowed as she assessed him. "You appear to be a prime specimen." "Specimen?" Elias stepped back. "I'm not some lab rat for your research." Talia tilted her head, a gesture almost human in its curiosity. "Interesting. Your species simultaneously craves discovery yet fears being discovered." She approached his control panel, analyzing the damage reports. "We have approximately 72 Earth hours to repair both vessels before my position is reported missing. And if we can't? Then we both face uncomfortable interrogations from our respective authorities." She turned to him, her expression softening slightly. "I suggest cooperation, Elias Morgan. Neither of us planned this encounter, but perhaps it serves a greater purpose." For the first time, Elias noticed vulnerability beneath her commanding presence, something almost desperate in her eyes. "What aren't you telling me?" he asked. Talia's gaze met his, unflinching. Everything, Commander. But time will demand truth between us. She gestured toward the engine room. Shall we begin? As they moved toward the damaged section of the ship, Elias couldn't shake the feeling that this collision was no accident, that Talia had been searching for something specific. Or someone. 36 hours into repairs, Elias found himself begrudgingly impressed by Talia's technical prowess. Her slender, six-fingered hands worked with remarkable precision, manipulating components of his ship's engine he barely understood himself. Your propulsion system is primitive but surprisingly elegant, she remarked, sliding beneath a tangle of conduits. Like much of human engineering, inefficient yet resourceful. Elias handed her a fusion wrench. I'll take that as a compliment. Though I'm curious why an advanced species would be interested in studying us at all. Talia paused, her luminous eyes meeting his. Necessity often drives exploration more than curiosity. What necessity brought you to Earth's solar system? She emerged from beneath the machinery, wiping iridescent fluid from her hands. Perhaps it's time for honesty between us. Talia gestured toward the small galley. I require sustenance. As do you, I imagine. In the cramped eating space, Elias watched with fascination as Talia analyzed his food supplies, eventually selecting freeze-dried fruit and a protein pack. She consumed them methodically, seemingly more interested in their composition than their taste. My species, the Asterians, have been spacefaring for nearly 6,000 of your years, she finally began. We developed remarkable technologies, extended our lifespans, established colonies across 17 star systems. Sounds like quite the success story, Elias commented. Success often carries unforeseen consequences. Talia's voice took on a somber quality. Our genetic modification practices, while enhancing our intelligence and longevity, created an unexpected problem over generations. Our reproductive capabilities have deteriorated. Birth rates have plummeted by 97% in the past century alone. Elias frowned. You're facing extinction. Precisely. Her fingers traced patterns on the table's surface. Our scientists searched for compatible genetic material throughout known space. Most species proved incompatible or produced non-viable offspring. A chill ran down Elias's spine as realization dawned. Until you discovered humans. 5 Earth years ago, we intercepted your Voyager probe. Analysis revealed surprising genetic compatibility, perhaps suggesting ancient common ancestry. Talia's gaze intensified. Further research confirmed potential viability for hybridization. So you're here to, what? Abduct humans for breeding? Elias pushed away from the table, suddenly wary. Such crude methods are unnecessary. I am a genetic researcher, not a kidnapper. Talia appeared genuinely offended. My mission was to observe and collect samples, hair, tissue, perhaps reproductive material, with minimal disruption. And our collision? A genuine accident. She hesitated, then added, though I admit I was tracking your vessel specifically. Solo explorers offer optimal research opportunities. Elias ran a hand through his dark hair, processing the implications. You need human DNA to save your species. More specifically, I need viable embryos. Talia's voice softened. I myself am among the last generation of Asterians capable of natural reproduction, though my fertility window closes soon. Our council designated me for this mission due to my genetic compatibility with human physiology. The implication hung between them in the recycled air of the ship. Elias felt heat rising to his face. You want me to father your child? Clinical terminology would be genetic donor, Talia corrected, though a faint purple flush colored her cheeks. But essentially, yes. The first human Asterian hybrid could save 2 civilizations, yours and mine. How would that save humanity? We're not facing extinction. Yet, Talia said grimly. Your species' trajectory mirrors our own from millennia ago. Successful hybridization would provide genetic solutions to extend human lifespans, increase disease resistance, and enhance cognitive function. Elias paced the small galley, mind racing. This is a lot to process. I understand. Talia stood, her height nearly matching his own. The repairs should be complete within another day. You are under no obligation. I can continue my research elsewhere. As she turned to leave, Elias caught her wrist. Her skin felt surprisingly warm, almost silken beneath his fingers. Wait. I have questions. Something like hope flickered in her otherworldly eyes. Ask them. Would this be some kind of clinical procedure, or? He couldn't bring himself to finish the question. A small smile curved Talia's lips. Asterians are not so different from humans in some aspects of biology. Natural conception would offer the highest probability of success. Their eyes locked, and Elias felt an unexpected current of attraction, not just physical, but something deeper, a recognition of kindred spirits despite the vast differences between them. I need time to think, he said finally. Of course. Talia gently withdrew her arm from his grasp. But time, Commander Morgan, is the one luxury neither of our species can afford. As she departed for the engine room, Elias stared out the viewport at the endless expanse of stars. Somewhere among them was Earth, oblivious to the fact that its future might depend on a decision he now faced, a decision that felt increasingly less clinical and more personal with each passing hour. The communication alert blared through the ship, startling Elias from his restless sleep. He stumbled to the control panel, heart racing as he recognized the encryption pattern, Earth Command. Morgan here, he answered, hastily straightening his appearance before activating the video feed. General Harlow's stern face materialized on screen. Commander, we've detected an unknown vessel docked with yours. Explain immediately. Elias hesitated. Standard protocol demanded full disclosure of first contact, but something made him pause. Meteoroid damage, sir. I intercepted a derelict probe, appears to be abandoned technology from an early Russian mission. I've docked with it to salvage parts for repairs. Harlow's eyes narrowed. Our scans indicate energy signatures inconsistent with any Earth technology. Must be interference from the radiation belt I'm traversing, Elias countered smoothly. The salvage is proving useful. I should complete repairs within 12 hours. Negative, Commander. We're dispatching retrieval vessels to your coordinates. Maintain position and prepare for extraction. That's an order. The transmission ended before Elias could protest. He slammed his fist against the console, feeling trapped between worlds. They're coming for you. Talia's voice came from behind him. She stood in the doorway, her expression unreadable. How long were you listening? Long enough. She moved closer, her movements fluid as mercury. You lied to protect me. Why? Elias ran a hand through his hair. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe because I know what would happen if they found you. Quarantine, experimentation, exploitation of your technology. Not exactly humanity's finest moment. And yet you've given up your chance to be the human who discovered alien life, she observed. That would have made you a historical figure on your world. I've never been interested in fame. He met her gaze. How much time do we have before they arrive? At their current velocity, approximately 15 Earth hours. Elias paced the small bridge. Then we need to complete repairs and get you out of here before they arrive. Talia tilted her head, studying him with those mesmerizing eyes. You've decided to decline my proposition, then. I didn't say that. Elias stopped pacing. But whatever I decide, it needs to be free from external pressure. They worked in focused silence for the next several hours, reconnecting systems and testing repairs. With each passing moment, Elias found himself more aware of Talia, the graceful efficiency of her movements, the subtle fragrance that reminded him of night-blooming jasmine, the intelligence that sparkled in her conversations. As they finished the final calibrations on her quantum stabilizer, their hands brushed. The contact sent an unexpected jolt of electricity through Elias, and he saw Talia's eyes widen in response. "You felt that too," he murmured. "Bioenergetic resonance," she explained, though her voice had lost some of its clinical detachment. Further evidence of compatibility. With repairs complete, they stood in the airlock between their two vessels. 10 hours remained before Earth's retrieval ships would arrive. "Your ship is functional now," Elias said. "You should go before they get here." Talia nodded, but made no move to leave. "And your decision, Commander Morgan?" Elias took a deep breath. "I've spent my entire life exploring space, searching for meaning beyond Earth. If I can help prevent the extinction of an entire civilization, how could I refuse?" "You understand this goes beyond mere genetic donation," Talia said softly. "The process creates a permanent connection. Our child would need both Asterian and human guidance. You're asking me to leave everything behind." It wasn't a question. Yes. Her honesty was refreshing in its directness. "Though I cannot promise what awaits us. My people may reject a human in their midst, just as yours would reject me." Elias stepped closer, drawn by something he couldn't explain, something that transcended the vast differences between their species. "I've never quite fit in on Earth anyway," he admitted. "Always looking to the stars instead of around me." With gentle hesitation, he reached out, tracing the delicate contours of her face. Her skin felt warm beneath his fingertips, almost luminescent. "This is madness," he whispered. "Perhaps." Talia leaned into his touch. "Or perhaps it is the most logical solution for both our species." Their first kiss was tentative, an exploration of alien territory. Her lips were softer than he'd imagined, and tasted faintly of something like honey and stardust. When they parted, the silver flecks in her eyes seemed to pulse with new intensity. 8 hours before your people arrive," she reminded him. "We must complete the genetic bonding process if we are to leave together." Elias nodded, his decision made. "Show me your world, Talia." As she led him toward her vessel, Elias cast one last glance at the ship that had been his home for over a year. He was leaving behind everything he knew, exchanging it for an uncertain future among the stars. Yet somehow, it felt less like an ending and more like the beginning he'd been searching for his entire life. Talia's vessel hummed with energy as they crossed the threshold, lights pulsing in patterns that seemed to respond to her presence. The interior was organic in design, flowing curves and luminescent surfaces that shifted colors subtly as they moved through the ship. "This way," she guided, leading Elias to a chamber at the vessel's core. The room was circular, dominated by a basin of swirling, opalescent liquid in its center. Crystal formations grew from the ceiling, casting prismatic reflections across the walls. "The genetic bonding chamber," Talia explained, activating a series of controls that caused the liquid to glow more intensely. "My people evolved beyond many physical needs, but reproduction remains tied to our biological origins, enhanced by technology but still fundamentally organic." Elias approached the basin cautiously. "What exactly happens in here?" "The mist facilitates cellular harmonization," she said, adjusting settings on a crystalline panel. "It prepares both participants for optimal genetic exchange." "Will it hurt?" A small smile touched her lips. Quite the opposite. She began unfastening the clasps of her iridescent garment. "The process requires direct skin contact. The bonding is intimate." As her clothing fell away, Elias caught his breath. Her body was humanoid yet hauntingly different, her skin luminescent with subtle patterns that seemed to flow beneath the surface, her curves both familiar and alien. "You're beautiful," he whispered, surprising himself with his sincerity. "Beauty is a strange concept across species," Talia replied, though the purple flush across her cheeks suggested his compliment affected her. "Yet I find your form equally appealing." With trembling hands, Elias removed his own clothing. Vulnerability and desire warred within him as they stood naked before each other, two beings from different worlds about to cross a boundary never before traversed. Talia extended her hand. Together, they stepped into the basin, the luminous liquid rising to their waists. It felt warm against Elias's skin, tingling with subtle electric currents. "What now?" he asked, his voice barely audible over the liquid's gentle rippling. In answer, Talia moved closer, her body gliding through the fluid with ethereal grace. "Now we complete the bond." Their first embrace in the basin sent shock waves of sensation through Elias's body. Every point of contact between them sparked with intense energy. The liquid around them began to pulse, matching the rhythm of their accelerating heartbeats. "I feel." Elias gasped as new sensations flooded his consciousness. "The neural connection is forming," Talia whispered against his neck. "Don't resist it." As their bodies entwined, Elias felt the boundaries of his mind expanding. Suddenly he was experiencing not just his own desire but Talia's as well, a feedback loop of sensation that intensified with each touch, each kiss. Their lovemaking transcended physical pleasure, becoming a communion of minds as well as bodies. In flashes of shared consciousness, Elias glimpsed Talia's world, crystal spires reaching toward twin moons, vast libraries of living memory, the crushing weight of being among the last of her kind capable of creating new life. In turn, she experienced his memories, childhood gazing at stars from Earth's surface, the exhilaration of his first space flight, the lonely beauty of his years exploring the cosmos. When they finally reached the pinnacle of their union, the liquid around them erupted in a spiral of light that enveloped their joined bodies. Elias felt something fundamental changing within him, cellular structures realigning, neural pathways rewiring. "What's happening to me?" he gasped as waves of transformation rippled through his body. "The permanent bond," Talia explained, her eyes wide with wonder. "It's stronger than anticipated. Your genetic structure is remarkably adaptable." As the light faded and the liquid calmed, they remained embraced, neither willing to break the profound connection they now shared. "I can feel you," Elias whispered, touching his temple. "In my mind." Talia nodded, equally amazed. The telepathic link was an unexpected development. It typically occurs only between Asterians after decades of bonding. They emerged from the basin, their skin dry despite the immersion, both subtly changed. Elias caught his reflection in a crystalline surface, his eyes now held tiny flecks of silver, similar to Talia's. "The changes appear to be more than superficial," she observed, running her fingers along his arm where faint luminescent patterns had appeared. "Your cellular structure has begun incorporating Asterian characteristics. Is that dangerous?" "No," she assured him. "If anything, it will extend your lifespan, enhance your sensory perception." Elias drew her into his arms again, marveling at how natural it felt despite the strangeness of their situation. "And the conception?" Talia placed her hand over her abdomen, closing her eyes in concentration. After a moment, she looked up, her expression radiant with joy and disbelief. "Successful," she whispered. "Already the cells divide and grow." Her eyes glistened with emotion. "You've given my people hope, Elias Morgan." Through their newfound mental link, he felt the depth of her gratitude, her fear, her growing affection for him, emotions made all the more powerful by the knowledge that they were genuine, impossible to conceal in their shared consciousness. "We should leave," he reminded her gently. "Earth's vessels will reach my ship soon." As they dressed and prepared for departure, an alert sounded from Talia's communication system. Her expression darkened as she reviewed the incoming message. "What is it?" Elias asked, sensing her distress through their connection. "My research vessel has been reported missing. The Asterian High Council has dispatched recovery ships to my last known coordinates." She looked up, eyes wide. "They'll arrive within hours, just after your Earth vessels. Then we'll be caught between two worlds," Elias realized. "Neither of which is ready for this encounter." They stared at each other, their newly formed bond humming with shared anxiety and determination. "What now?" he asked. Talia's hand found his, their fingers intertwining. "Now we become something neither of our worlds expected, emissaries of a future neither dared imagine." The vast observation deck of the Asterian diplomatic vessel offered an unparalleled view of Earth, hanging like a blue jewel against the blackness of space. Elias stood transfixed, his enhanced vision allowing him to discern continents and weather patterns even from this distance. "It looks different from out here," he murmured. "Smaller, yet somehow more significant." Talia moved beside him, her abdomen now visibly rounded beneath her ceremonial attire. 6 months had passed since their escape from the convergence of Earth and Asterian recovery vessels, 6 months of diplomatic negotiations, scientific discussions, and gradual acceptance of the unprecedented alliance they represented. "Are you nervous about returning?" she asked, though she could feel his anxiety through their bond. "Terrified," Elias admitted, taking her hand. The luminescent patterns on his skin had spread, now matching the intricate designs on Talia's arms, physical evidence of their continued biological synchronization. Earth's leaders agreed to these talks, but that doesn't mean they're ready to accept us. The Asterian Council had similar reservations, Talia reminded him. Yet the evidence of our child's viability has silenced many critics. Elias placed his hand gently on her belly, feeling the flutter of movement within, a sensation he experienced both through touch and through their telepathic connection. The child's consciousness was already forming, a unique blend of human curiosity and Asterian awareness. "She will belong to both worlds and neither," he said softly. "She will forge her own path," Talia corrected, covering his hand with hers. "As we have." The diplomatic mission had been Elias's idea, a bold proposal to transform their personal union into an official alliance between species. To everyone's surprise, both Earth's International Space Coalition and the Asterian High Council had ultimately agreed, recognizing the potential benefits of cooperation. A chime signaled the approach of the diplomatic party. Elder Marius, the Asterian ambassador, entered with Admiral Conway of Earth Space Command. Both leaders had been instrumental in arranging the historic summit. "It's time," Elder Marius announced, his ancient eyes regarding them with careful neutrality. Though many Asterians still viewed their union with skepticism, none could deny its significance. Admiral Conway nodded stiffly. "The Secretary-General will receive you personally. The world's media will be watching." "Let them watch," Elias replied. It's time humanity expanded its definition of family. As they prepared to board the shuttle that would take them to Earth's surface, Talia suddenly gasped, clutching her abdomen. "What's wrong?" Elias asked, alarmed. Through their bond, he felt it, not pain, but an overwhelming surge of energy pulsing from their unborn child. "She's responding to Earth's proximity," Talia explained, wonder in her voice. "The human part of her recognizes her father's homeworld." Elder Marius approached cautiously. "May I?" he asked, his hands hovering near Talia's abdomen. At her nod, he placed gnarled fingers against the swell of her pregnancy. His eyes widened. "Extraordinary," he whispered. "Her consciousness already exceeds that of any Asterian child at birth. The hybrid vigor is remarkable." Admiral Conway watched from a distance, his military reserve softening slightly at the intimate scene. "Will the child look human?" "She will carry traits from both lineages," Talia explained. "But physical appearance matters less than what she represents," hope for two civilizations that have reached evolutionary crossroads. The journey to Earth's surface passed in contemplative silence. As the shuttle entered the atmosphere, Elias felt a surge of emotions: homecoming, apprehension, and the strange realization that the concept of home had forever changed for him. They landed at a specially prepared facility in Geneva, headquarters of the newly formed Interspecies Council. A small group of dignitaries waited on the tarmac, their faces a mixture of diplomatic composure and barely concealed curiosity. "Remember," Admiral Conway cautioned as the shuttle doors prepared to open, "there will be questions about the physical nature of your relationship. Some will find it difficult to accept." "The truth needs no justification," Elias replied calmly. "Our union has already produced more scientific breakthroughs than decades of isolated research." Indeed, the genetic insights gained from studying their bond had already yielded promising treatments for human genetic disorders. Meanwhile, Asterian scientists had begun implementing modified human genetic sequences to reinvigorate their own reproductive capabilities. As they stepped onto Earth soil, a hush fell over the assembled officials. Talia's otherworldly beauty, enhanced by the glow of pregnancy, created a striking image beside Elias with his subtly altered appearance. The Secretary-General stepped forward first, extending her hand in the human gesture of greeting that Talia had practiced. "On behalf of humanity, I welcome you to Earth," she said formally, then added with genuine warmth, "and congratulate you both on your forthcoming child." Talia completed the handshake perfectly, then offered the traditional Asterian greeting, a gentle touch to the forehead. "May our minds meet in understanding and our hearts in peace." As cameras flashed and recorded the historic moment, Elias felt a powerful surge of emotion from Talia through their bond, not just diplomatic satisfaction, but genuine hope for their future. Later that night, in the privacy of their quarters, they stood by the window overlooking the lights of Geneva. Talia's head rested against Elias's shoulder as their child moved actively within her. "They're already calling her the child of two worlds in the media," Elias noted, scrolling through news reports on his tablet. "A heavy title for one so small," Talia murmured. "She'll have us to guide her," Elias assured her, setting aside the device to embrace his partner. "Besides, I suspect she'll forge her own path regardless of our plans." Through their bond, they shared the perfect understanding that continued to deepen with each passing day, the knowledge that their union, begun as a desperate bid for species survival, had transcended into something neither could have imagined. "The Asterian word for what we've created doesn't translate well to English," Talia said softly. "The closest might be cosmic inheritance, a legacy that belongs not just to us or our child, but to the stars themselves." Elias smiled, feeling the rightness of it all despite the challenges that still lay ahead. "Cosmic inheritance," he repeated, tasting the phrase. "I like that." As night deepened over Earth, the first truly interspecies family embraced their shared future, pioneers of a new era where the boundaries between worlds, like the space between stars, serve not as barriers but as invitations to explore, connect, and love beyond all imagined limitations.